Hello everybody, this is Tim here again to another movie review, this time for another Luc Besson film. I was watching a lot of Luc Besson before I jumped into doing some David Lynch. Now as far as it goes with Luc Besson, I've mentioned in other videos that he's a hit or miss director for me, but he's mostly a hit director for me. But when he is weaker, he is really weaker, or when he's really good, he is really good. And this is one of his weaker movies. This is Anna, I believe that came out in like 2019 maybe. I'm going to go ahead and say it. The biggest problem I have with this movie, and after I watched it, I wanted to look up to see what it got. It was pretty much a flop in theaters. And it got mixed to negative reviews, and I can see why. The whole time I was watching this film, the obvious #1 flaw with this film, despite the good cast of the girl who plays Anna, and sorry about that light in the background, I'm trying to angle myself to where I can get rid of it, or get rid of the glare. But yeah, the obvious problem with this film is despite the good performances, this is a direct attempt by Luc Besson to redo La Femme Nikita for like a newer audience, a more mainstream audience. And the movie jumps around in different time periods and different like time points to specifically add more of a Pulp Fiction Memento type flavor to the movie. It doesn't totally work. It's kind of interesting at first, but then the movie just does it over and over and over. And at the end of the movie, it beats you over the head with like multiple twists after twist, by jumping into like different time periods to try to explain, oh, this is why this twist was set up and why this twist was set up, and it's just like you're overdoing it, Besson. You're killing it. When the movie starts out, you got like this girl named Anna or whatever, who's this real pretty girl, obviously, blonde-haired chick. I think she's like a Russian chick, and she gets hired by this dude to be like in a modeling agency. She gets in there, and you get the idea that she's like either bisexual or a lesbian or something, and she's like falling in love with this other chick, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere and just like really rushes into it. To the relationship. You never get an idea about where she's coming from. But later on in the movie it explains it, because then she hooks up with this dude and then she kills him. And then it flashes back to you find out she was like a trained assassin that came from like, or a person who became a trained assassin who was like this down on her luck girl who had potential because her parents were like KGB people or whatever. It's almost the exact same setup from La Femme Nikita. No, it is the exact same setup. But the thing with La Femme Nikita, it was the first time I was watching that type of movie by Luc Besson, so I was more forgiving of the two-dimensional type characters at certain points, because it was the first one I had seen, or the first time I had seen him do it. Here he's doing it again, and he's remaking his own film, and that's already annoying me for most of this movie. But even by the time I get into that and just accept it for what it is, I'm saying, well, if you're going to remake the movie, give me a little bit more here. And I know there's going to be people who probably saw this film first before La Femme Nikita, and they're going to be like, no, it's different in this way and that way and all that. But yeah, it throws in some stuff in here and there to kind of be different and spice it up. Like Cillian Murphy shows up in here, and really good acting as like an American FBI agent or CIA agent or whatever. And he's really good, and he's also very smart and clever and everything. And how he's like working to like use the Anna character in here for his own personal gain. And that's another thing, you don't really get like an idea of where she's coming from or how she really feels as a person or a character. You just in La Femme Nikita, you were supposed to kind of just get the idea of where that character was coming from, and here they expect you to do the exact same thing, but you can't really do that just twice in the same, almost the same exact type of movie. Because you're going to be wanting more from it instead of just seeing almost the same movie over again. So it's like, well, does she actually have any feelings for this woman she's just posing a relationship with to try to create a facade about why she's with this girl, just create like a fake persona for herself? Does she really have any feelings for this girl? Obviously she doesn't, because she's not even really into women in the movie. She's just using the chick as like, a prop to pretend like she cares or has a personal life. And then she's running off like screwing Luke Evans in the movie, who was like her boss or whatever, and that just comes out of nowhere, and they never explain why she has a sexual attraction to him or whatever. It just kind of just throws in there. Like the movie feels like it's just like rushing through everything, every personal relationship, without taking the time to actually explain anything from a character standpoint. And then later on in the movie, she's like talking to Cillian Murphy, and you get the idea that even he has a crush on her. And then it jumps into the point where she just comes up to him, where he's supposed to have been like keeping tabs on her in Hawaii or whatever, where she's working for him. And then she comes up to him randomly in the middle of the night after leaving the girls' room, just comes up to him and is like, hey, you want to screw? Let's just screw. It's like, damn. I mean, if that's what you're into, so be it. But at the same time, though, I want to know more about this character and where she's coming from. You're just left to infer everything. And, there's nothing to the person as a person. She's just totally two-dimensional, which would have been fine if this was like the first one I saw. But it's just almost an exact remake of La Femme Nikita. I'm like, what's the point in even watching this? And even accepting it as a remake, it doesn't do anything new enough to really carry itself. Helen Mirren in here plays like this asshole chick who's like running the organization, and she's like, I know you like my own daughter, and you're like, why? How? Because we never get to see any scenes of them actually really getting to personally know each other. The movie just kind of rushes through everything. So by the end of the movie, it's like a double twist where you think that Helen Mirren is like killing her or whatever because she's trying to leave the agency. But no, she's just like faking her death so she can get away from everybody. And then she's like got her head bald, and she puts on like a boggin and just like walks off into the distance and disappears. Okay. You never get an idea of why. But I like at the end, though, like the last final scene of how she wants to, like, blackmail the chick, or blackmail Helen Mirren, not chick, but Helen Mirren, or whatever, in case she ever decides to, like, turn on her, you know. And she tells her to delete her file because she made a deal with her, basically, that if she did what the Americans wanted. Helen Mirren basically makes a deal with the Anna girl to go along with what the Americans want, to kill this dude or whatever who's like this criminal type guy who's like oppressing them all or whatever. You know, it's like a feminist type thing. He's a man or evil man or whatever. So she takes him out and all that. You get to the end, and Helen Mirren does decide to like delete Anna's file, and then she just kind of leaves off into the distance. It's almost the same similar type of ending as La Femme Nikita. So yeah, all in all, this is a low 2 out of 4. This is a passable movie that is too long, but at the same time, they're rushing through the majority of stuff that's the most interesting from a character standpoint. So you really don't get much out of it from an artistic perspective. So yeah, this is just an extremely watered-down version of La Femme Nikita. I don't really see any reason to ever watch this again, to be honest. Yeah, Luc Besson, he really is, like I said before, a hit-or-miss director. Most of the stuff that he writes on or has produced and stuff is pretty decent, but just focusing on the stuff that he's directed, like I've mentioned before, he's very hit-or-miss. Like, when he's good, he's really good, like La Femme Nikita, Leon the Professional, Fifth Element, but when he's weak to bad, he is weak to bad, like this, and Joan of Arc, and Valerian, and the City of a Thousand whatever planets or whatever. Yeah, you can definitely tell bad Besson from good Besson. So yeah, all in all, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.